So, I'm here to talk about two experiences that were very important to me. So, exactly 4 weeks ago from today, I was boarding a plane back home from Washington, D.C., where I had just spent the week with 103 other delegates from around the nation, where we listened to speakers from all aspects of government, and we spent the week in Washington learning about what it really truly means to be in public service. And many of you may be thinking, oh geez, this sounds like a huge nerd convention. And it was really. But if you were thinking that the people that we listened to were the stereotypical self-interested politicians, then you would be greatly mistaken. Because I used to actually be one of those people who had the same negative outlook that everybody on Capitol Hill really only cared about themselves, but this was changed for me in a single week. So today, I'm here to talk about service. Service through the lens of my perspective at the 53rd Annual United States Senate Youth Program, and service through my school and community endeavors. So I traveled down to Washington, D.C. for the week as one of two delegates from Pennsylvania, and there we listened to speakers from all aspects of government, including President of the World Bank, Dr. Jim Yong Kim, to Swedish Ambassador Bjorn Lerval, to Associate Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. However, what I saw in DC wasn't the negative image of politicians, but instead motivated individuals who had dedicated their lives to public service and who were genuinely passionate about making a change in this world. And I remember Senator Cory Gardner from Colorado, when he was asked about reconciling the relations in Congress and the public perception, he said something I would never forget. He said, "It's hard to hate up close." And that really resonated with me because as I listened to the incredible backstories of these public servants, I realized these stories are ones that we don't nearly dedicate enough time to listen to. And I remember when NASA Administrator Charles F. Bolden was asked why he got into NASA and why he is kept with it. And he started choking up as he told us that he personally lost several of his friends when the Challenger space mission failed. And that raw empathy, that real emotion, that real dedication to service communicated passion for what he was doing and truly practicing what he preached, which was finding something that kept him excited about going to work every day and truly using his talents to serve others. But beyond the incredible speakers we listened to, one of the most eye-opening experiences for me was receiving guidance from 17 military mentors from all different areas, and this included the Coast Guard, the Navy, the Army, intelligence, and so many more. And their job was to guide a group of students, and they honestly showed us what it meant to truly serve our country. Think about it. Their job is to protect our government and you, and they would, without a doubt, take a bullet for you. Let that sink in for a moment, because, I certainly had to. My only job in DC was eating. Really. All day. That's all I did. But nonetheless, even if you have never spoken to one of these national heroes, they have dedicated their lives to you. And they would, without a doubt, put their lives on the line, as so many are every day in Afghanistan, Iraq, and other areas of the world. And that's just phenomenal to even think about. And they do it because they love this country and they're really, truly care about the direction this country is going towards. And they were some of the most kind-hearted, silly, caring, and not to mention really tall people I've ever met. Almost came up to his shoulder. And this isn't what you would expect from people who are seemingly in the military and seem to be rigid and very uptight all the time. But they were truly some of the most amazing people I've ever met. And not enough people give them credit for what they do and just how selfless and inspiring their work really is. But most importantly, what I want to talk about is the extraordinary youth in this program and in our local and global community who really care about making a positive impact. These students came from all walks of life. They came from small towns, big cities, industrial areas, and agricultural centers, and they all brought their different opinions to Washington Week. And it was amazing. Imagine a group of students in pajamas in a hotel getting a noise complaint because they're up late talking about healthcare and the economic policies of the future. And that was us. But I mean, there was no tension, there was no animosity, there was just open-mindedness and acceptance for what each other was saying. Because as we shared our different backgrounds, our different perspectives, our different views, we were able to educate one another and become more worldly humans because of it. And world's greatest philosopher, Wiz Khalifa, once said, "Happy people serve." And maybe he didn't say exactly those words, but the statement still really resonates with me because I'm a naturally happy person. But likewise, I like to believe that people who serve are happy. And this is a perpetual cycle that we should always continue in our own lives. And each one of the student delegates was there that week not because they wanted to be a big name someday, but because they had this common passion to happily change the world. Whether it be through science, music, government, engineering, the possibilities are endless. And this exact idea was reinforced by President Barack Obama when he talked to us and told us, don't focus less on who you want to be and focus more on what you want to do. And each one of these students were already embodying that by participating in service in some aspect or another. Whether it be fighting actively for Native American rights, whether it be volunteering at orphanages in the local and overseas community, whether it be even writing rap songs about polarization and justice. Okay, you got me. That was me. No shame. And I mean, sometimes our present culture has this negative view towards the future, and it's true. There's so many problems still facing society. There's still discrimination, poverty, gridlock, climate change. But a cynical mindset that we can't change what is happening is perhaps the biggest obstacle we have in creating change. And Senator Susan Collins from Maine told us that we have no right to complain if we are just going to sit on the sidelines. And if we don't let our voices be heard, if we don't vote and speak up for what we believe in, how will our representatives know what we want? And this is so important, but I have so much optimism for the future because of the extraordinary youth at this program. And because when I look around this room, I see a room full of hope, a room full of potential, a room full of the people who can and will make the change that we so desperately need. And at this point, you may be thinking, I'm not interested in government or public service, so how does this apply to me? And when I tell you to get involved, I don't just mean the national issues, such as police reform, gay rights, Kanye and Kim's marriage, but this also includes the local community that encompasses us. And just 4 days ago, I was riding a bus back home from Grandview Elementary School, where I had another transformative experience. And this was a trip where students from my high school took down to an inner city school where we spent the day with our 4th and 5th grade pen pals acting as role models and mentors for them. And allow me to put some things in perspective. Our two schools are only 16 miles apart, yet my school has an economically disadvantaged population of 6% as compared to a staggering 80% in their district. When we were with them though, it was amazing to see how much they thrived with one-to-one interaction and being surrounded by positivity and great role models. And we take so much for granted. Having markers in our classrooms, having computers that work, having food to eat, even graduating from high school. But so often we forget the inherent values of staying grounded, humble, and gracious for everything we have. And one of my biggest mentors never fails to remind me that to whom much is given, much is expected. And so by reaching out a helping hand, by volunteering at your local holiday shop, your food banks, by reaching out to the nursing homes, even in your own school, we foster a community that cares about one another. And this is what service really is about. It's about hope. It's about empathy. It's about making a difference in other people's lives. And I believe service is a two-way street, that as much as you give, what you get back is priceless. And what I tried to give to my own pen pal, Janara, was a sense of hope, a sense of love, and high self-esteem. And what she gave me was equally as valuable. I mean, she taught me how to dance the nene, and that has really come in handy. But also, she taught me to have a more broadened perspective, a sense of appreciation, and happiness knowing that us as individuals have already begun to make a difference in other people's lives. And as Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia once said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So show them that you care and show them every day through service, starting today. Thank you.